Hello again, everyone, and Steve Beverly here with Coach Mark Campbell as we are preparing for Union University basketball. A game that was supposed to be last weekend was postponed because Auburn Montgomery could not meet COVID restrictions. And so we have it rescheduled for today, even though there is the hint of snow in the air for later this evening. Mark, I know gets to be a little chaotic when you have these situations with COVID, but you pretty much have to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't bother me. It's just a matter of us figuring out how to walk through it. I think the expectation is it's going to be a little chaotic and it's going to be different. And if I act one way, I think my players tend to act the same way. And so I think we have to be whatever and just go with the flow, make good decisions, and be honest. And they've hated practicing as much as we've had to practice over the last week and a half. I know that.
I was going to ask you about that because Thursday night, another one of these close ones, but your team has won the close ones on the road in the conference so far. And that's got to be a good thing. But the other part of it is looking at all of that. You were virtually 2 weeks off when that game got postponed last week, virtually 2 weeks off. Tell us how that really affected the team.
Yeah, I'm not sure how effect it has. I do know this, that playing games allows us to move pretty quickly through things, learn lessons pretty quickly because they have an opportunity to kind of wash themselves of the feeling of whether it's lack of execution or playing badly. And so for me as a coach, I think I like practicing a lot more than I actually like playing games. But I do realize that it changes the scenario a little bit playing games, and they look forward to doing that. And it brings out the best. It also brings out our worst at times. And so we haven't played very well coming back. We've won a couple of close games, which we're fortunate to have won. I think we're very aware of the things we need to get better at. And I thought we improved on some things. Our late games, we're much more familiar with late game scenarios and comfortable in that. We've gotten a little bit better at pressing. And, this next week, we got a game obviously today and then playing again against two really good teams next week. I think our team has an opportunity to get a lot better over the next 7 or 8 days.
Let's talk about this. For those of you at home, last week, Mark and I had done the full interview and we were ready to bring it to you. And then when the game was postponed at somewhat of an 11th hour situation, we couldn't use that because it was not applicable to our telecast. So, Mark, I'm going to ask you the same question that I did last week. What can you tell us specifically about Auburn Montgomery and what they're going to bring to the court today?
Well, I just think there are a lot. Sean's recruited has better players this year. They're going to be a better team. Their record does not in any way indicate how much better they are than last year. But to be honest with you, Steve, the reason I was even late getting on the call with you today is that I'm watching us, and I think that most of our problems have to do with the things that we can control. And so we've got to get a lot better defensively. We're much more capable than our ranking and ratings are on the defensive end of the floor, because offensively, I think we're in the top 3 in the country. And so we just got to get better. And there's a long way to go. We don't want our team to peak right now. And we have a month and a half before we want to be playing our best basketball. That's a long time.
And in particular, in the things that you said that you need to get better on, including defense, what are the specifics on that side of the ball that you're really looking to see improvement in?
There's not an area that we're good at. We're not good with scouting report stuff. We are not good in transition right now. We're definitely not good with position off the ball to be able to help. We don't understand spacing as far as taking away space and getting in position, and our post defense isn't very good, and we're not blocking out. So, Steve, there's not any area I feel good about at all. Zero. I know that's probably some people on the telecast think that's negative. I actually think it's a positive thing. It allows us to get a lot better over the next month and a half. Gives us an avenue to get improvement. And I think that if you have mature players who actually want to win games in March, they want honesty. And when you watch tape, it's as honest as it possibly can be.
Let's talk about keys to the game today against AU. What are the specifics that you're going to be looking for as far as being able to counteract what they do bring?
Yeah, it's much what I just said. We've got to get really good defensively, develop habits, really take our job seriously in the moment. I think that if we think about everything, sometimes it can be a little big. I can't make shots, or if I'm making bad passes, or I don't remember what set we're in, or I just made a bad mistake on personnel, it might get a little bit too big and we're not able to think clearly. I think everybody can kind of understand what that scenario is just in regular life in general. If we can narrow it down to what my job is in this particular moment and try to do our jobs really well, we'll get a lot better, and that improvement will happen real quick.
Mark, wish you a lot of good success on the floor today, and we'll see you all throughout the game and some choice comments about the game in general. And we will bring you tonight's game right after you see the starting lineups. For Auburn Montgomery, a 5'8 freshman, Jamia Tyus. She's from Dallas, Georgia. From the hometown of Montgomery, 5'6 freshman, Elisha Dudley. Catelyn Carter goes 5'7". She's a graduate transfer from Bessemer, Alabama. Jordan Brewster, a 5'9" senior from Lenore City, Tennessee. And Demoria Moore, 6 foot, she's the tall one, the senior from Tuscaloosa. For the Lady Bulldogs, from Thailand, a 5'8" junior. She can do anything with the ball. Shanique Lucas. Ashton Baker, the 5'6" graduate transfer from Nesbitt, Mississippi. Bethany Dillard, great three-point shooter, 5'10" freshman from Maumelle, Arkansas. Lady Bulldogs leading scorer, Jalencia Williams, a 6'2" senior from Indianapolis. And Emily Dunnigan, 5'4" graduate student from Dixon, Tennessee.
And shoot-arounds are over, and we are almost set to go with our invocation and national anthem here live from Fred DeLay Gymnasium and David Blackstock Court. This is a makeup game from last weekend. If you were with us with the Union and Auburn Montgomery men, that was supposed to be a doubleheader. But what happened in that case was that AUM could not field enough players because of COVID restrictions. So this gets real complicated. What happened is today, both our teams from Union were scheduled to be down at Alabama Huntsville. The men are, and they're down 36-35 at halftime right now. However, what happened in the long run is that the Alabama Huntsville women then had a COVID outbreak, and so they had to withdraw from their home game with that. We knew about it early enough, and so Auburn Montgomery, to make up that game from last weekend, came in here. So that is what is happening. It's the Warhawks going up against the Lady Bulldogs that are trying to stay undefeated in the conference race. They're 12-2 over in all, and 7-0 in the conference. Auburn Montgomery 5-7. They are yet to win in the conference, but Mark Campbell believes they will give Union a tough test today. Let's go down to the floor for the invocation and for our national anthem.
Thank you for your cooperation. At this time, please rise for the invocation of the state for playing our national anthem. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day you've given us. Thank you for the opportunity to gather here this afternoon and enjoy this game we love. Thank you for these players and coaches and for their dedication to the sport of basketball. We ask that all of them keep this afternoon with good sportsmanship and be kept free from injury. May all that is done and said here today be to your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
We have had one change in the starting lineup for the contest for Auburn Montgomery. Coach Sean Page is going with Gracie Lee. She is a 5'10" sophomore from Australia, and she will be taking the place that initially was going to be with Catelyn Carter, who is a graduate student from Bessemer, Alabama. And Auburn Montgomery will come in with a team that is probably going to be slightly, at certain positions, going to be slightly taller at the guard than Union, but Lady Bulldogs have more experience than this Warhawk team. And they're about to be introduced, and Shanique Lucas, whose dad was here last weekend hoping to see her play, visiting from Thailand, and unfortunately, because the game had to be postponed, was not here. Ashton Baker, the grad transfer from Liberty. Here's Jalencia Williams, the senior. And Bethany Dillard, who has just been extraordinarily impressive as a freshman for the Lady Bulldogs. And Emily Beard Dunnigan, the young lady who I still tell you, when we interviewed Emily in one of the games before Christmas, I wish you could have seen her mouth drop about 6 inches when I said, Emily, you're going to be the next interview on there. And I don't think she knew what to say, but I overcame all of her resistance. And she was so good to be with us. And Emily, let me tell you what, you got to look at her this year. 37 3-pointers to lead the Lady Bulldogs. Bethany Dillard, as a freshman, has hit 30. So, as you know, Mark has a lot of confidence in these players. And we're going to be hearing from him a lot during the game about building and measuring confidence in the players. Union has won 5 meetings in a row between these two teams and 9 of the last 10. And it is Williams to jump it with more, and it is Union with the tip. Steve Beverly with all the play-by-play, and it's good to have all of you with us along our network and on E+ TV6, brought to you by Worthy Road Studios, and they get it inside to Jalencia Williams right off the bat. And the foul is charged to Demoria Moore. She'll be going head-to-head against Williams. Demoria, that 6-foot senior from Tuscaloosa. Jalencia only a 61% free throw shooter, but she can get on a streak. And this is what Mark hopes, is that as the season progresses, that we can get to a point to get 2 out of 3 from her. And again, they're going to spread them out. This Auburn Montgomery team for the season is shooting 42% from the floor. Union 48%. But their best hope, they believe, is to spread them out and try to get it from the outside. And Moore, she dribbled right on the end line, and so the official was right on top of it, and Union will play it. First turnover of the contest. And again, Ashton Baker, that great leadership that she provides in the backcourt, running the point. She can hit from outside quite well, and that young lady, Shanique Lucas, can pull up and do it. But Dillard, look at her drive. I mean, that was like watching a pair of pliers go through and pull out a bolt. Woo, that was a big drive on the part of Bethany Dillard. Mark Campbell says, don't be deceived by Auburn Montgomery's record, because he said they're very capable of having a game where they put it all together, and they're going for the big bomb, and it's off the mark to the right, and here comes Lucas on the bicycle. Shanique is another one that can just very, very quickly go on a flash drive. And open for the 3 from the corner. Ashton Baker for the 3. And Union starting right out to a 6-0 margin. You usually see Ashton do a lot more driving, although she's had plenty of 3-pointers so far this season. Ashton averaging 11 a game, 13 on the shot clock. Watch the defense on Lucas right there. And here's the steal. Here goes the flash. It's one-on-one. And she's going to take it all the way in, and it does not fall. She just did not have position to get that layup properly angled. But that's just exactly what she brings to the table. She's terrific when it comes to steals. She's had that's her 29th steal on the season. And they go underneath, tipped away by Lucas. And Union's defense can just shred you if they're on all cylinders. That's turnover number 3 for the Warhawks. And from the corner, it is Dillard right down the middle. Timeout called by AUM as Union is out to a 9-0 lead. And it gives us a perfect opportunity to visit with Mark Campbell. Success for him has been measured in 22 years as the guiding hand of Lady Bulldog basketball. But we ask him how difficult it is to have conversations with his team when they aren't playing up to par.
Number one, I pray that I'm going to have wisdom in being able to say things in the right way and to be able to think through, not react emotionally and react with wisdom. So I think that each one of the girls on my team are a gift. They all have different strengths and weaknesses, whether it's on the floor or off it. And I appreciate all those, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to work with them. So if they don't know I care about them, these conversations are really hard.
Mark and Dave Niven have been so good to share with us a lot of their inside thoughts about the game and also dealing with players as people as well as just athletes. And that has been very, very helpful, I hope, for you at home to get more insight into the game itself and what goes into coaching, what goes into motivating players. And we'll be hearing from Mark all through this evening's contest. Let me say to all of you here in West Tennessee, if you're watching this game live on Saturday afternoon, we will be under a winter storm warning from 9 o'clock tonight until 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. That is from the National Weather Service. And right now you could find out predictions of anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snow that are expected to fall overnight and into early Sunday morning. So we encourage you to stay very, very close to your most favorite source for weather information. And we'll try to also bring as much to you as we can. And finally on the board, a little more than 3 minutes into the contest, it's Kaylin Farrell that hits the first basket off the bench. Farrell's a 6'1 freshman from Tullahoma, Tennessee. And, that was like watching Jell-O just fall apart. The cake just was not going to stay in the pan there. Jalencia had position but just couldn't get it to fall. So off the timeout, this is where an AUM team hopes to get a basket. They got one, but that one was a stray for Gracie Lee. Boy, what a high vertical leap that you have from Shanique Lucas, and going right into a brick wall, but drawing the foul is Emily Dunnigan. So Union will play it underneath. Checking in for the Warhawks is Tamia Willingham King. She is a graduate transfer from Tuskegee. She hails from Decatur, Alabama. This is a traditional Union and off the hands of Jalencia Williams. That was set up tailor-made for a layup, and Jalencia just took her eye off the ball, and Union commits its second turnover. So let's see how Coach Page plays it. Mark has a lot of respect for Sean Page and the way he's trying to build this program at AUM. They were an incredibly strong force in NAIA basketball for many, many years. Came here often to the NAIA National Tournament at Oman Arena. And open for the three. They got the screen, but it was well short for Farrell. And here you go. And kicking it on the outside, and the foul. And that is going to be charged to Elisha Dudley, the 5'6 freshman from Montgomery. So Union will play it again underneath. Lady Bulldogs got the first 9 points in this one, and it's been more of a defensive battle since then. Mark's going to try to play a lot of people today. From the corner, it's Dillard. That one just didn't quite have enough arc on it. Lady Bulldogs 50% from the floor, 3 out of 6 so far. But the one thing that Mark Campbell does not want to see is for them to start hitting the brakes after getting that big early lead. Not a lot of folks here at Fred DeLay Gymnasium this afternoon, and there was nowhere home, and that is going to be a 3-second violation. Nobody was home on the inside, and so they tried to go back to the outside, but just didn't get outside of the lane. Under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Union is yet to commit a personal foul in the game. Here goes Samaria Thompson. You got two players too close to each other. That's not supposed to happen. Thompson just took it right through everybody and got it in. She had 3 players in a triangle around her, and her timing was perfect to get that layup through, and so it's an 11-2 Union lead. Carter is the leading scorer on this team with 14, and finally from outside with a 3. This is a team that shoots 34% in three-pointers. So it's an 11-5 Union lead. Williams is going to try to get inside. She's double-teamed in the paint, and Lucas tossed that one away. I want to say hello to her folks who are watching back in Thailand. I'm not sure what hour of the day it is. And that's a big one from outside for Brewster. And so AUM has cut it down to 3. On the inside, yep. That's where Jalencia Williams will begin to get you every time, and she just got behind everybody, and they could not give her any kind of defense. Brewster, who just hit that one for AUM, is a 34% three-point shooter on the season. Their best percentage shooter, not from 3, but just from everywhere. Turnaround basket is there for Willingham King for her first. Actually, that's her second basket of the game. She's got 5 now. But Tyus she is shooting 56%, high arcing two-pointer for Shanique Lucas. And that's her first basket. You've got 5 different Lady Bulldogs that are on the board so far. And Union, 6 of 9 for 67%. That one, the iron was unkind. And Jalencia with a rebound. Thompson, who is just surprisingly fast, the jumper. And moving into the paint to get that one is Beard, and give her first basket of the afternoon. And so everybody who has played for Union has scored. A 17-10 Union lead after getting the first 9 in the contest. And we get close to the 2-minute mark. Almost stolen away, but it was overshot. So Bethany Dillard did a good job with backdoor defense. Thompson's going to try to get below everybody, and she is clobbered by Dudley. And that's going to be Dudley's second foul. She'll go to the line for 2. And we got multiple substitutions coming in. Mark Campbell is going to bring in Keely Robinson and Bailey Augustine. And you got 3 substitutions coming in for AUM. At the line, Samaria Thompson. She's got a nice motion on her free throw shot. Just has a very smooth ability, doesn't try to do anything terribly cute with it. And you can see her eyes are terribly focused on that basket. Ashton Baker checks back in, and Thompson checks out after her 2 free throws, and Union back to the 9-point margin and giving a little bit of a half-court trap. It's what you might call a 1-2-2 trap defense, and that's designed to try to disrupt the ability for AUM to set up its offense. And going right in between defenders, that's going to be Union's first personal of the contest, and it's going to be charged to Ashton Baker. Instead, they charge it to Lucas. And open. Nobody was home to defend against Moore, and she just put it right through with a line drive shot. Mark didn't like the defense going completely to sleep at that point. Union's going to spread them out again on offense. And here you go. Oh, my goodness, that was just miscommunication. Dunnigan was trying to dish it outside to Augustine, and she went a little bit too far right, and Augustine was going to her right when she should have been going to her left, and Union coughs it up for the third time in the game. As we're under 1 minute here in the first quarter. I'll bring you an update in the second quarter as to how the Union men are doing down at Alabama Huntsville. 10 on the shot clock. Knocked away, and so with 8 on the shot clock, AUM will play it underneath. I have very fond feelings for AUM because they once employed my wife when we lived in East Alabama. They're going to have to hurry with this. They do get a new 20 since Union knocked it out. It went back to 20 seconds on the shot clock, and Baker, those quick hands, almost managed to steal but knocked it away, and so now they're down to 10 on the shot clock. And let's see how Coach Page plays it. And tipped away again. So Union is being razor sharp on defense on these inbound plays. And they were trying to get to the inside working against Dunnigan, and they couldn't get there. And on the line, and Mark Campbell was pointing to the sidelines, and he got it. So Union with 28 seconds remaining on the game clock now. They may play it for the final shot of the quarter, leading 19-12. Union undefeated in conference play, a half-game lead over West Florida and Valdosta State, two teams that will be in here next weekend for doubleheaders. Lucas. And Beard for the three. Yes! You saw that one. She had the range. The minute she let it go, there were only 3 seconds left on the clock. Perfect execution. So Union leads at 22-12 at the end of the first quarter. And that gives us another opportunity to consider this. Deciding who starts and who comes off the bench can be a tough call for any coach. And I asked Mark Campbell how he juggles the delicate issue of playing time for his team.
For me, I try to just kind of listen and look and try to make really good decisions and bump those things off my assistant coaches. We also have to look at statistics, but, it goes beyond statistics. It goes into, hey, how can this person benefit us in March? What things, like, is there a ceiling to them that limits them from helping us in March versus a person that doesn't have a ceiling that's struggling early? And you're thinking, but they can be unbelievable in March. And so trying to mix all those things together is complex, and it's probably the hardest thing we do as coaches that I'm not sure everybody realizes is trying to put a team together to get them to really care for each other, even if they have trouble liking one another. Can they love each other really well? Can they give forth an effort that is demonstrated and put out for the purpose of the team instead of based on how they feel or what they think about themselves? So.
Lady Bulldogs back on the floor very quickly, leading by 10 at the end of the first quarter, and they are shooting 73% from the field. They won't keep that up for the whole game, but 73%, 8 out of 11. They're 3 out of 4 in three-pointers for 75%. The other end of the ledger, not a bad afternoon for Auburn Montgomery, 50%, 5 out of 10, and 2 out of 5 in three-pointers. So they're outdoing both teams, significantly outdoing their season's average, but Union has just been more steady and has been stronger on defense across the board, forcing 5 turnovers on the Warhawks, who get the first possession of the second quarter. Good to have all of you with us, whether you're watching from down in Montgomery or whether you are here right in Jackson. That one went astray for Moore, and it's Baker on the fly. And inside, yes, sir! Perfect dish off by Thompson with the bounce pass into Emily Dunnigan, and she's the game's leader now with 7. And when you have a 10-point lead, you want to start right off and continue to keep the foot on the pedal. AUM is, and here goes the steal. Here goes the flash. And down the stretch she goes with a left-hand layup. Timeout is called. Ashton Baker makes it 26-12. And while they take timeout, a coach has to walk a fine line between what's best for an individual player and what's best for the entire team. I asked Mark Campbell how he makes those decisions.
So I think those conversations are done with care. They're done with tact. They're honest. And then you reward people for playing well. And so with this team, there's a nucleus that's back that understands what we're doing. That's an advantage right now. They know what we're doing. And so right now they might get rewarded for that knowledge, but at some point the other players will understand what we're doing. And it'll just come down with consistency and being able to give their gifts away, and does it benefit the team? And so I'm going to try to separate my friendship or my relationship with each person and try to make the decision that's best on the floor. I think I do that pretty well now. When I was young, I struggled with that. I cared about what parents thought and care about what the kids think. And I don't think I can afford to think either one of those things in the midst of competition.
This is only Union's second game in January, and that's because you had the postponement last weekend with AUM, and so when they defeated in a real thriller down at Montevallo Thursday night, 74-70, when Union came away with that one to stay undefeated in the conference, it was tough for them because that was the first game action that they had seen since New Year's Eve. So it has been, particularly with the COVID situation, it has wreaked havoc with a few schedules in the Gulf South Conference. Union trying to keep them down, and they did. It took 10 full seconds before they got it across the line. So that means less time to be able to set up a play and be able to execute properly. And they're down to 6 on the shot clock. Trying to work against Thompson. They're not going to get it off. That is perfect man-to-man defense on the part of the Lady Bulldogs. And they are just playing with a mission today. And checking back in is Alasha Dudley for AUM. And here comes Thompson. Union spreads them out again. Bit of a 2-3 on offense. They go to Jalencia down underneath. She's a little bit too far outside to try a bank. High arcing three is there. Outstanding job on that three for Leah Cauble, who's into the contest now, and Union is up by 17. It was a 10-point lead at the end of the first quarter, and Union 7 in a row in the second. 10 unanswered points since that last three-pointer to end the first quarter. And a little bit of a line drive shot, and it goes through for Moore. And finally, in the second quarter, Warhawks are on the board. Thompson, not a prolific scorer, but you can see how well she is. And that one, oh yeah, that one was what you would call a skater's waltz. That's one, if my director, Paul Schultze, had the music, it'd go da, 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 da. That she just slid like she was on skates. There was no way she was going to avoid a traveling call on that one. Union back to the half-court trap. And they do get beyond it this time. Underneath, and you got another 3-second violation. That is the second of the game. Union has picked up 15 points off turnovers in the first 12 and a half minutes of this game. And for the season, they're averaging 17 a game. That's just unheard of. They forced 8 turnovers and picked up 17 points off of the mistakes of AUM. Williams trying to find somebody open, and they're rotating to get open. And Baker. Nope, it just rimmed across. She really didn't have a good set for that one. You've had 7 different Lady Bulldogs and 4 different AUM players to score in the game, and it's an offensive foul. So that is turnover number 9 for AUM. And Ashton is going to bring it down the floor. Boy, when she gets the speed on, she is exciting to watch. I tell you what, it looked as though that Dillard was going to pull up and do it. Look at the extension, the left-hand arm extension for Jalencia Williams. She's got 5. She is Union's leader, averaging 16 a game and 9 rebounds. Big three-pointer from about 28 feet out for Dudley. And Dudley is a 38% three-point shooter. She can get hot in any given game. Got about 6 minutes to go in the first half. Kicking inside to Williams. And look at Lucas. That is just like watching a workman inside of a carpenter's mill. She just absolutely just is relentless when she gets on a drive. That was about a 35-footer that was way outside the range of Dudley. She was almost standing in front of the scorer's table, and I know, having sat there many, many times, that's just a little bit outside of most people's range. Checking out for Union is Augustine as well as Cauble. And Mark is rotating a lot of people in and out. He's already played 9 players in the contest. Here goes Williams. And she just did not have enough extension to be able to bank it, and she just hit it right off the bottom of the iron. Union still shooting 72% from the floor and 80% on three-pointers. That will not continue for the entire game. They have just not been able to work it inside against Williams. She's going to try to do it this time and just had nowhere to go. And Williams waiting on that block. They cannot get it off. Union's got it. It would have been a 30-second violation had Union not picked it up. Here's Dunnigan. Yes! Emily, give us a grin on that one. 36-17. Emily with 10. That is fun to watch when she gets into a rhythm, and it's almost, as she told us in an interview before Christmas, she almost knows, and they're going to call a foul. She knows it's going to be there almost the minute it leaves her hand, and she knows when it's not going to be there. And checking back in for AUM is Demaria Moore, the senior from Tuscaloosa. Here goes a steal and the foul. Now, the question is, who's he going to call it on? Is he going to call it on Dillard, or is he calling it, and they're going to have a discussion about it, because Dillard got creamed in the eye after she stole the ball. Now, let's see what they're going to say. They're going to have a discussion on this. We're going to keep it right here. And they're going to come back and take a look at it on replay to see if they can determine what happened there. And it may be, they also may be determine if it's a flagrant foul. I frankly did not think it was, but we'll try to figure that out very, very shortly. Mark Campbell using this as, and both coaches using this as equivalent of a timeout to at about halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through this second quarter, to have the opportunity to just give some instructions to their players. While they're doing that, let me remind you that at 7 o'clock tonight, for those of you watching us live, 7 o'clock tonight on ePlus TV6 and on the web at eplustv6.com, and you can watch it on Roku on the free-to-view app. Steve Beverly's TV Classics will be coming your way, and we're going to have an all Dwayne Hickman tribute tonight for all 3 hours. Dwayne Hickman, Dobie Gillis from the Bob Cummings Show. He did a game show, and we've got that in there as a panelist. We're going to be showing you the many talents of Dwayne Hickman, who passed away last weekend at the age of 87. And we hope you're going to enjoy it. And I've got a very special guest who was a personal friend of Dwayne Hickman, who will tell you what he was like as a person. That's Steve Beverly's TV Classics shortly after this game is over with at 7 o'clock tonight on ePlus TV6. And there you go, left-hand layup, and it would not go up high enough. And Jalencia fired it up too high off the glass. Oh, those are killers. It kills your percentage of shooting, but those are killers when you had two very good looks underneath and you couldn't make them drop. And again, they have not been able to exploit the inside. And you just look at Lucas and Williams are just making it impossible for them to get anything going inside the paint. Going for the big three. No, the iron was unkind for Tyus. And again, she's a good three-point shooter. Tyus also has 32 assists on the season. Lady Bulldogs, it's cooled off to 67% in shooting. I think anybody will take that. And look at the directing traffic. She looks like an air traffic controller out there. And Lucas finally decides to take it herself. If you're not going to move, I'll shoot it. And she did. And Union back to the half-court trap, but it's not an intense pressure this time. We've been playing this very quickly. We've only been at it 28 minutes. Big three from the corner once again. And nailing it home is Willingham King, who is not one of the leading scorers on this AUM team, but it's 38-20. They need a bunch of them to get back into it. Union back into its standard offense, setting a lot of screens and trying to get somebody open, particularly if they can get them open on the inside like Jalencia. She has, look at that extension, and it wouldn't go. Now, let's see what happens. She goes to the deck hard. And the foul is going to be charged to Johnson. That's Monica Johnson, the 5'7" junior from Birmingham. So since it was on the rebound, as Cowboy Curling goes out there to clean up the floor, Union will play it underneath. Ashton's going to look for and got it, just barely got it into Jalencia. And look at that one. Beard has got an afternoon going. She's 5 for 5 from the floor. And Union back up to a 20-point lead. It was 10 at the end of the first quarter. Under 2 minutes to go. And that one, again, that's miscommunication. Willingham Mays was trying to get it over on the wing to Brewster, and it was just simply miscommunication as to who was cutting where. That is the 12th turnover on the part of AUM, and Union has already got 20 points off of turnovers. And it is Beard. Yes! She can't miss tonight. 6 out of 6, 15 points. And Union by 23. And going for a big bomb. Yes! Let's tell you, there's an answer shot for Brewster. She's a 34% three-point shooter on the season, so she can let fly just as she did there. Mark does not like, I can see him out of the corner of my eye, he doesn't like the way the offense is operating. And that one is just, they were totally disorganized on that, and Mark is getting back into the game. Keeley Robinson, he didn't like a thing he saw. So Augustine will check out once again. And obviously, there was just total disorganization on that offensive play. And Mark is trying to get things rerouted so that he doesn't see a repeat of that. That was the 5th turnover for the Lady Bulldogs. Good rotation for AUM, and turn away, and that was just knocked away by Lucas off the shot by Moore. Lucas slowing it down and goes to Jalencia. Big three. Baker was bumped, but there's no call on the backside. Union will play it underneath. After Ashton fired up that three, she was bumped, but the official didn't call it. So Union with 36 seconds remaining. Comfortably ahead, 43-23, but Mark likes to end the half on a positive note. And again, they're working their rotations and taking it all the way home. The high bank layup is there for Shanique Lucas. 45-23, and AUM is going to play it for the final one. This is Dudley trying to work it inside. They've hardly even had a layup in this game, and she drew the foul. Union's going to have about 4 seconds if they reclaim possession. That one's on Jalencia Williams. That's her first. Union has only committed 3 fouls in the entire contest. So at the line for 2, it's Dudley. She's got 3. Dudley averages 10 points a game, and she also is a great free throw shooter. She's the leading percentage shooter, 79% from the line for the season. And this young lady also has got 22 assists in the 21-22 campaign. Knocked them both home, and you wouldn't be surprised at all that she did. Union's going to have to get a desperation one, and Lucas is going to, I don't think she'll be able to, she does. Oh, it was short. That was about a 40-footer. I was surprised she got that far down the floor, and it was just off the top of the iron. And Union leads it 45-25 at halftime. Just a dominating performance. Let me give you the scoring for AUM. Alasha Dudley with 5, but it's Willingham King who is the leading scorer for AUM with 8. And as I say, she's not among their top scorers on the season. Brewster with 2 3-pointers has 6 for Union. It's been the Emily Beard show this afternoon. She's a perfect 6 for 6 from the floor and 3 for 3 from behind the arc. 15 points on the day. She's just been incredible, and a steal. So she's been terrific. 8 points for Shanique Lucas, and you got 5 each for Williams, Baker, and Dillard. So Union dominating 45-25. We've got a Bulldog Classic for you at halftime. We're going to take you back 26 years to 1996. And it was at this very Fred DeLay gym floor in which the Union Bulldogs were taking on Bethel. And in that game, it was a real turning point for Coach Ralph Turner's career because of the fact that Bethel had smashed Union on its floor, getting a 22-0 lead in the contest before Union even put in a basket. And so Union is trailing 78-65 with 2:17 remaining to go in the game. You're about to see one of the most dramatic comebacks that I've ever seen in all of the nearly 30 years at the mic of Union basketball. Let's go back and watch it. Union against Bethel from 1996.
78-65, the Wildcats, a 13-point margin, getting close up again to their biggest lead of the night, which was 15. Gehring drives, they give it to him. And they take a timeout. We'll be talking to Ralph Turner to get his thoughts at the end of this one and see if he can figure out where it didn't happen, because it looks like with 2:05 to go, unless there's a miraculous comeback, it's going to be Bethel evening up its season record at 12-12. And they're trying to find someone open. Union playing tight pressure defense, and traveling is called. So Union has at least an opportunity here with 1:53 left. We mentioned a few minutes ago when they played Bethel in the Christmas tournament at Jackson State, they were down by 7 points with 15 seconds left and managed to pull it into a tie. It went to overtime and Union won it. Now, I don't think you have that many miracles during the season.
Well, you never know with these guys.
Did Gary get it off? Yes, he did. Off of the bounce, and Union calls time again. Union was up 85 to 76. Now, I'm going to get it right. It's 85-77. Now it's in my mind. It's 85-77. They got three straight three-pointers in the last minute and a half. And then Sonia Wilkins made that tip right at the horn to give Union the 87-86 heart attack victory.
That's right. So you can never say a game's over.
Steve has the mind of a steel trap.
He does. Believe me, he never forgets anything.
And sometimes I fall right into them. And there's a steal by Wood. Now, can they connect? We talked about looking for miracles. Well, Bryan tries it. He's fouled.
Stops the clock.
I tell you what, Bud Collier would have loved it. It's like the old beat the clock game the way they did it. And let's watch it again. Here's the steal.
It's almost as if they threw it right to him, but there you go. He's certainly a player right in there. And if they can hit these two shots, they're only down by 6.
That was a good move. That was either I'm hitting it or you're fouling me.
Well, Bryan at the line, and this will be a critical free throw in his first Union game, and he gets it. He has 6 points. That cuts it down to a 7-point margin. 1:32 left. Max Bryan trying again. In and out. Who gets the rebound? It's tipped, and Bryan gets it back again. They fire up a three, and Williams connects. Williams has it. Union calls another time. Wait a minute. What are they saying? I don't know what the call is. Are they calling a timeout? There. Union is now on a 9-point run. Those 9 points have been scored in the last 31 seconds. Nunemaker is jumping so high here, she nearly clawed my arm off on that 3-point shot.
I get kind of excited, I'm sorry.
And can the defense do it again? Well, they're going to have to get back down the floor fast. And they tip it away, but they're going to call a foul. 1:23 left. The hope has to be here now that the Wildcats cannot connect. It's getting down to cases. 1:23. The crowd's going to try to ice him. Let's watch it. It's there. Boy, you talk about ice blue. He's it.
He's been on the money with the free throws.
He has 15 points and 7 of them from the free throw line in this half.
It's the kind of guy you need at the line at the end of the game.
High arcing shot goes through. It's down to back up to a 6-point margin. It's Wood. Watch Gehring. He's the guy you want it to happen with. He drives, puts it up. It's there. They won't call a timeout this time. I don't know if Turner's out of them. 1 minute to go. Bethel's going to try to shave it. 26 on the shot clock.
This is not the guy you want to foul.
No, and he's going to hold it as long as he can. You really don't want to put English there either. They're going to try a long. No, they didn't. Why? And they threw it away. They were trying to get it to Quintermus. They toss it away.
Crucial mistake. I think he thought Ham was going to shoot that ball. I certainly did. He wound up throwing the ball away.
I don't think there was a person in the house that didn't think Ham was going to go for the 3. It's got to happen for Union on this possession. It's down to a 4-point margin. They go to Hoover, who's open for the 3. Yes, it's there.
1-point game.
Hoover connects. It's 80-79. Foul called on Barnes. He'll have 2. Watch it. It was soft enough to go through. So Ham makes it 81-79. Watch again. We'll listen. Got them both. You gotta say tough under pressure. Okay, Union, a 3 could put it into overtime. The entire place is standing over on the student side. So are the Bethel fans. 25 left. They go to Hoover. Hoover is going to be called for a charge. And we saw it right here.
That's a block. That was definitely a block. He started to go for the charge, but...
No, they are going to call it the other way. He held up his hand behind his head and called the charge. You saw it right before
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm going to have to say that was a block. If he was going to call a charge, I was going to be really upset.
Well, they called this one on Puckett, his fourth.
Lee was about to stand up there for a second. I didn't know where she was going.
No, I was about to throw my pen at the referee. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought you were going to take the court there for a second.
It's really not a bad foul for Bethel because he can only close it to one. Well, he got the first one.
What we can hope to do right now, you can do several things. You can try to go for the rebound, try to miss the shot, try to kick it off long. With 23 seconds, though, that's kind of a tough call.
What a thriller tonight here on WBBJ. This was one that anybody who cut the set off about 4 minutes ago, they wasted one here. Hoover, short, and it comes off. That one hurt. They really needed that one. Puckett with a rebound because if they foul, it could be, and they do. 19 seconds left. Langton commits. 18 points, 6 rebounds. They're crammed to the rafters here. Watch it. It's there. Will his magic run out? This could be the icer. No good. It rims out, but who gets the rebound?
Union.
It's going to Union. Barnes with it. They've got one chance. 12 seconds with 11. They've got to get a three. Barnes to Hoover, who is open. It's up. It's there. Hoover gets it. Hoover gets it. Hoover gets it. They cannot foul. But by a baseball pass down the floor. Union tips it out of bounds. It goes back to Bethel with 2 seconds left. It's Bethel's ball. They've got an incorrect score on the scoreboard. It's tied at 83. This place is going bonkers. Afford a foul. Now you got to know they work on situations like this. With one, they go underneath. It's there. It's overshot. We have overtime. We have overtime.
How about that? The Fred was absolutely rocking. And it was a turning point in Ralph Turner's career because of the fact that started an 8-game winning streak for the Bulldogs. But it was still tied at the end of the first overtime. So we're going to pick up the action with about a minute and a half left in the second overtime. And you're going to see this place erupt like you haven't seen it in years.
A minute 40. Union back down by one after getting the first three-pointer of overtime. A minute and a half left. They want to go to Gehring if they can. Wood with it. Gehring hemmed up, double team. Barnes drives the middle. Back to Wood. They're down to 11. Barnes puts it up. Yes! Back to 97, 96. Union. You see Barnes directing them on defense as they come back down. We're getting close to 1 minute. Wood thought about a steal. He didn't do it. This place has just had all of the emotional life taken out of it, and still they come under 1 minute, and English tries it again and gets it again.
He is unbelievable.
He's the guy to go to.
He is the guy they're going to have to go to.
25 for Matt English. We're back down to 50 seconds. It's 98-97 Bethel. I've never seen an emotional game quite like this take so many turns in 2 overtimes. 40 seconds left. A critical possession. Wood drives, fakes, back to Barnes. They go to Lee, who wants to make it. He turns it around. It doesn't fall, but Gehring gets it back up. He's fouled.
He's fouled.
Gehring back to the line.
Let's set it up again. Gehring, a tough night, but gets it. He is 2 for 9 from the line tonight, but he has tied it at 98. Can he do it again? It's short. It just is not falling. I know he's tired. So Bethel with perhaps the last possession. Oh, will it go to 3 overtimes? Union and Bethel.
We're definitely going to have to keep it away from Matt English.
And who has it? Who falls away? It doesn't go. Gehring with a chance. All right, with 5 and a foul is called. I don't believe it. Nienaber tries to decide who's going to get it. Again, not a bad move by Nienaber.
Not a bad move at all. You know, you're scrambling for the ball. I think it's just Bethel wanting the ball back on their end of the court.
They have confidence in their three-point shooters. We have 5 seconds left. Watch it. Union's not even contesting the free throw line. Watch it as Lee puts it up. It's there. 7 in a row.
How many free throws have we seen tonight go in and out, or out and in?
This place will go crazy if Union pulls this off. Let's watch it. In and out. They've got a chance. 4, 3, 2, 1. Will he put it up? He tries a long one. It's no good. Union wins it. Union wins it 99-98. Let's go out of the floor and talk to Ralph Turner. Watch him in the middle of the floor.
What a classic that was, and it's still one of my favorite games that I have called in 29 years of being at the mic at Union University. And while that was going on, just literally seconds ago, with 2.8 seconds remaining, Ty Parks hit a free throw for the Bulldogs to defeat Alabama Huntsville 71-70 in Huntsville this afternoon, and that's an exclamation point for Union to do that on the road. What a team that Dave Niven has this year. Ty Parks with the winning free throw. Let's show you our halftime statistics and bring you up to date on how these two teams are stacking up, with Union up 45-25 at halftime over AUM. And here is what it looks like right now. Field goals, I told you it would come down a little bit. Lady Bulldogs 64%. They were up as high as 78% from the field. 47%, which is above the season average for AUM. 3-point field goals, though, Union 67%. And a lot of that is from Emily Beard Dunnigan. 50%, that's way above the season average for AUM. They're 3 out of 6. Free throws, Union 75% from the stripe. AUM, they're perfect so far. Union has the edge in rebounds, 12-8. You don't have as many rebounds because the shooting percentages are so high. But look at this. AUM has committed 12 turnovers to only 5 for Union. And look at this. The Lady Bulldogs have picked up 23 points off of the mistakes of AUM, only 3 of AUM off turnovers. And for Union, the season average for an entire game is 17, so they are well above that mark already. And those are your halftime stats, brought to you by Worthy Road Studios, for the finest in sports and special event production all throughout West Tennessee. Your number one place to go is Worthy Road Studios, and I am very happy to be a part of that team. Lady Bulldogs open the second half with first possession, leading by 20. They were up 10 at the end of the first quarter, and a foul. Union will play it underneath. Right off the bat, and that is the second foul on Moore. Union going back into their rotations and trying to get Williams. And Jalencia with that turn and spin, and she has done it. 7 for Jalencia. Lady Bulldogs starting out just like they have in the first 2 quarters with the first basket. Union got out to a 9-0 lead to begin the contest and had a big 12-point run in the second quarter. AUM has just not been able to get anything going on the inside. And look at the block. Second block of the game for Jalencia. From the corner, nope. She was too much on the move, and going to the deck hard was Jalencia Williams. And the foul is charged to Moore, and that will be her third. So AUM, which is not going very deep, already has 3 players with 3 fouls now. Lee, Moore, and Dudley. So they quickly get Gracie Lee back into the game. For the 3. Yes, sir. Dillard. Bethany with her third 3 of the contest. That young lady is just a freshman. Just think of what you're going to see from her in her career here if something doesn't send her into a different direction. And we have no reason to believe that it will. Union by 25. And they go to the inside against, there's been no room against Williams, and they overshoot it. That's one of the few layups they've been able to actually get off, and Jalencia just bothered her. They were fortunate to get by with that one because that bounce pass, Jalencia didn't have her eye anticipating it. She's working against Lee, and she's going to get it. There was just no way. And the backside foul, Lee can't believe the call, but they said she reached around and committed the foul on the drive in, so Jalencia an opportunity for a three-point play. And Union striking right off again with the first 7 points of the third quarter. I can remember when this AUM team came in here to Jackson back during the NAIA years. This would have been during the late 90s, and they had a player named Erla Thorsteinsdottir. She was from Iceland. You could have won a lot of money on Wheel of Fortune with her last name. But it was such a long name to pronounce that I can tell you by the time we got to the second half, she was E.T. as far as I was concerned. Offensive rebound for Lucas. But that young lady was a tough, tough player. AUM was a national runner-up in the NAIA and going all the way down on the give and go, and that got the Union bench up. Beard will go to the line for two, and the foul is charged. And I couldn't tell. He held up 2 fingers, and I could not tell because they don't have a 2 out there on the floor. And Emily just has no inhibitions whatsoever to shoot free throws. She just does a spin and a toss. I wish I could be as relaxed shooting free throws as Emily. Of course, I'm 67 years old now, and I ought to be a little nervous trying to do it. Still have a basket in my backyard. Oh, that was one of the few times they've been able to get away with one, and the defenders were completely out of position, and Farrell gets the layup. And that's the first basket for AUM after 9 unanswered points for Union here in this quarter. Dangerous pass by Lucas. And they work the inside. Jalencia, left hand, right hand, doesn't matter. She is taking control, and timeout is called. So Union's on top, 56-27. The best coaches know when it's time to make a substitution in a game. And Mark Campbell tells us that several things go into that equation.
I think it's all situational. There's going to be a feeling involved with it for me. My gut's going to tell me it's time for something. And it's usually based on how they're playing in the moment or if they're fatigued. Or if I know there's a couple of people that play really well together. Are we struggling in transition? What are we struggling with? And who can I put on the floor that will help us kind of fight against that struggle? And what are we doing really well that this person actually can step in and fill the role of the person that's in there now? I want them to feel like when they come off the floor that they have somebody coming in for them that's going to be able to do the same job and do it really well. And so I think it's a lot of feel and listening to my assistant coaches and watching the game. And I've never really thought about anything other than trying to make really good decisions as it goes on. As some years I've played people too long. And so I do have to have in the back of my mind how many minutes I want somebody to play in a big, close game in March in a national tournament and make sure that I'm preparing for that day in the midst of the small days in between now and then.
This one has been all Union, 56-27, as the Lady Bulldogs have started out on an 11-2 run. You can see how relaxed Mark Campbell is, having a few rejoinders with the official there. And to toss it in is going to be Monica Johnson for AUM. It's been a tough season for them in the conference. They are winless. But Mark still insists that Sean Page is building this team the right way and that they will continue to get better as the season progresses. They go high inside to Williams. I don't know how Union got away without a turnover there. Almost stolen. Union has survived on this possession. And they've only got 6 on the shot clock, so Ashton may have to take this herself. Now, Ashton should have shot that one instead of dishing it off. Union just looked terrible. I'll just say it. Union looked terrible on that possession. It's as if they forgot where the instructions were when they came onto the floor. And I'm saying that with them up 29 in this game. Big three is off the mark for Farrell. They're shooting 42% in three-pointers is AUM. Union 64%. Only got about 125 people here in the house this afternoon. There you go. What an afternoon for Emily Beard. 20 points. She is 7 of 8 from the floor, 4 of 5 in three-pointers. I dare say she will be our player of the game when we end up. Big, long three, and that was banked in. I can tell you Brewster has practiced that. There's not a player anywhere who will tell you they practice banking in three-point shots, but she did. And she'll take it. I will guarantee you that. Shanique Lucas, top of the key, iron unkind, and it is Farrell the rebound. And slowing the tempo down. This AUM team cannot run with Union, and neither can a lot of other teams. And on the drive, the foul is going to be charged to Bethany Dillard. That's her first. And you got multiple substitutions coming in for both teams. It looks like they're having new people come to a picnic. You got to make sure all the guests are the right ones in the house. We've got 8 new players in the game. Long three is not there, and over the back is going to be charged to Emily Beard. At the rate we're going, this game's going to probably be over by 6:30 Central Time. And backdoor play, and nailing it home was Farrell. She's got 6 for the afternoon. It's a 59-32 lead for Union. Emily is trying to get open again, but instead goes to Keely Robinson. Down to 7 on the shot clock. They got to hurry, and Beard takes it, and she almost banked one home, but the rebound comes off to Gracie Lee. Actually, that was Brewster. Couldn't tell from where we were, and it's going to be a scramble for this one, and they get it, and it's going to probably go back to AUM because it looked like it went off of the hands of Skylie Morrison. So here we go. Timeout called. 4:27 remaining. Union up 59-32. And you'll frequently hear a coach single out a player for making good decisions on the floor. We talked to Mark Campbell about how players develop the confidence to make good decisions.
And most of my emotional reactions are based on decision-making, not based on anything else. And so early in the year, I think it's more people understanding what we're doing and decision-making. But as the year goes on, it's just they need to know what I'm thinking from the sideline. And at some point, they say to themselves before I say a word, here's the decision I should make. And so the more we think alike, the better team we are late in the year. And so decision-making is a difference between being good and great or bad and good. It's going to be true in life as well. Their whole life is going to be defined. Their reputation is going to be based on decision-making.
Well, the closest this game has been since Union got out to the early 9-0 lead was when it was 11-5. And it has been all Lady Bulldogs in this one. And Mark is playing a lot of his reserves right now. Emily Beard, the game's leading scorer with 27 of 9 field goals, 4 out of 6 three-pointers. She's had a couple of rebounds and a steal. It has been her show this afternoon. Big, long three is there for Brewster. Brewster, again, she hits about 1 out of every 3 that she takes. Here's Thompson. And she decides to take it all the way. That was a nice block from behind, perfectly timed by Farrell. Underneath, Thompson tries the fake and gets it. Samaria with 6. And Union tops the 60 mark. Mark likes to rotate in, particularly in a game that is pretty much in the bag. He likes to rotate in different combinations of players to see how they work. In and out and back in again. That's 2 in a row for Brewster. She has 15 to lead AUM. And Mark does not like the way the defense shaped up on that exchange. Open for the 3. No, Iron was unkind, but getting the rebound is Augustine. Bailey goes right through the defenders and gets the follow. So Union with 8 different Lady Bulldogs scoring, and Mark is yelling out defensive instructions. Big 3 again for Brewster, but that one's off the mark. Just a little bit short. And again, Thompson has been a terrific ball handler today for the Lady Bulldogs. She's been very much under control. And they work the corners down to 12 on the shot clock. They're going to go inside to Augustine and double dribbling. Yep, she picked it up, started the dribble, picked it back up, and then started it again. Better decision would have been to have gone for a pass. That is the 7th turnover for the Lady Bulldogs, and AUM has committed 12. Union has picked up the same number that they had at halftime, 23 points off turnovers from this AUM team. Trying to get on the inside and going for the 3. Off the mark. Again, this is a 34% three-point shooting team, but that's not high enough that you can live and die by. Thompson goes through everybody. There were 3 different defenders, and it was like watching a Greyhound bus weave around bowling pins. Thompson's had herself a fine game this afternoon with 8. They'd love to get it back in to Brewster and let her pull up and get a big 3. And underneath, that's going to be there on Augustine, and it's going to be that's going to be on Bailey. And it's a 2-shot opportunity. And Shanique Lucas is going to check back in. Mark wants to get a little bit more leadership on the floor. And Shanique is certainly one who can provide that. Tyus with her first point of the game, and she averages 9 on the season. This young lady, 32 assists coming into today's game. She's a 68% free throw shooter, but she nailed them both. So it's a 65-40 Union lead. It was 10 at the end of the first quarter, 20 at halftime. They had a 2-on-1 there for a minute, and going for the 3 is Cauble. Iron was unkind, and Lucas will get it. She was too far underneath to be able to put one up. Now, Shanique is very, very strong at being able to set up the plays. She's moving out over to the left wing. And it goes through. Augustine picks up 2. Union just finally waited until they could get an open player off the screen, and the foul is going to be charged to Keely Robinson. Last week, you may remember, Mark was in the crowd because the women didn't play, and Mark was giving a most unusual finger shadow that said happy birthday to you to Keely Robinson, whose birthday was last week. Big 3 is off the mark. Here they go. Keely's on the bicycle, and she may take it all the way, and she overshoots it. They're down to 38 seconds on the game clock. So Union should get one more possession, but they go for the big bomb. And almost there. I tell you what, I've been impressed with Brewster's shooting ability from outside. She's had a couple that should have gone that didn't. And Union is going to hold it for the final shot of the third quarter. It was 45-25 at halftime. And Union's put up another 22. Lucas, they got to hurry, and the foul. That's not a bad foul because that is only the fourth team foul, and there are only 4.2 seconds remaining. And again, wholesale substitutions coming in for AUM in the hope maybe that they could get this. Well, it is the 15th foul, so this will be a two-shot opportunity for Shiley Morrison. And wastes no time, nails it, and everybody who has played has scored today. And Mark has played 11 players. They're going to have to hurry, and they're not even going to try one. They're just going to keep it back behind the backcourt. And so Union up 69-40 going into the fourth quarter. Any successful coach will tell you that their goal is for a team to gel and hit a peak in late February and early March. And I asked Mark Campbell what makes that happen.
I think some people just think that happens just by chance, and it does. There's certain personalities that work together, certain people that are great communicators that bring about a feeling of togetherness just by being a part of a team. But I think that we can be really intentional to make that happen. I think it's obviously been done at all different levels. I mean, we see people that have dynasties and people that have sustained long success in programs. And I think that usually happens because people know how to focus on details, small things that'll pay off in the long run. And they're really focused on people being unselfish and being a part of a group and kind of forgetting self a little bit.
As Mark will tell you, he hopes that his team does just that, to be playing better and then be playing their absolute best basketball when it comes to the end of February and early March, because it doesn't matter what you do. If you don't win those critical games at tournament time, then the postseason ends early. And Union has been very fortunate to go deep into the postseason several times since joining NCAA Division II and making one National Final Four. Auburn Montgomery gets the alternate possession to start this final 10 minutes of play with Union up 69-40. And again, they've been trying to work outside to get it into Brewster, and that goes off the shoulder of Moore. That was a pass that was not anticipated. 14th turnover for the Warhawks. And again, Mark playing most of his reserves right now. He's got Shanique Lucas in there to be the maturity out of the group. And on the inside, Augustine just had a hand over her. She gets it back. That's going. She did not lose her concentration. And Bailey, who's from Black Rock, Arkansas, nailed it home. That gives her 4. Trying to go all the way, and that one was blocked by Robinson. And Shanique may take this one all the way because she had numbers, and she should have taken that all the way. She had beaten everyone and tossed it away on that. And the bank on the backside for Tyus, and that is her first basket of the game. They have missed her scoring in this contest this afternoon. Union is getting close to its 76-point average on the season. They've been holding opponents to an average of 63. And I believe that will hold up this afternoon. Going for the 3, nobody charging, and oh my goodness, Leah was robbed of that one. That was just right there, and it looked like a flipper in a pinball machine, and it went the wrong way. Jumper. It's there. So Willingham King is the second leading scorer of the afternoon with 10 for AUM. Lady Bulldogs slow the tempo down a bit. Lucas is over there on that right wing. Augustine works against her defender and gets it. She went right up against Lee, and Lee playing with 4 fouls. There was just no problem whatsoever. 73-44. And again, here goes Lucas. There's the steal. She's all the way, and down the stretch she goes. And timeout called by Mark Campbell. Union 75-44 after another down the stretch. Now, you talk about teams that get off to hot starts. Many do that early in a season, and then they fizzle out at tournament time. And so Mark Campbell told us that one way to avoid that is to keep your team from getting too emotionally high or too low.
And I think that's true in families. I think it's true definitely on teams, and that takes a while to happen. So that peak can be cultivated all year long. And then as a coach, you have to realize when you can let people go and really allow them to experience what you want them to feel at the right times. And if you do that too early, it stops it late. And you try to do that. You try to make people feel great in November and December and January. Not sure that's the avenue. And so for us, we want to be really specific and focused on details all year, doing the jobs well, so that sometime early February they start to understand and do their jobs really well. And at some point, the communication starts to be, this is, instead of this is who you can be, this is who you are.
This may be the fastest women's college basketball game that I have ever called. I can never remember being this deep into the game, and it has only been 72 minutes in which of actual playing time, because we are at 75-44, 7.5 minutes remaining. And we started right on time at 5 o'clock. The reason that this game started at 5, which is an unusual time, is because Union had a volleyball camp that had been scheduled for a long, long time, and it ran till about 3 o'clock this afternoon, so they had to have time to get everything changed over. And big three from outside. It goes to Willingham King, and who proves she can shoot from outside as well. That is her third three-pointer of the game. And she has 13. That young lady has shown me some tenacity in this game. This is Cauble. Now they're down to 9 on the shot clock. Thompson's going to take it down the lane and overshoots it. But on the rebound, going for those offensive boards, and Lady Bulldogs are doing a nice job of that. And it's Anna McCready. I'm sorry, Dad. I said McCready. It is McCready, and I wanted to make sure I got that right. It's like credit card. Just a little bit too much firepower. I believe she might have eaten too many pumpkin spice Cheerios this morning. Let's see if she can ease off a bit on it. Oh, Anna was short on that. Love to see her get into the scoring as well. And glad to see her in the game. 6.5 remaining. That one almost went back into the backcourt. Anna is from Fayetteville, Arkansas. And again, official counting it off. She got behind the defenders but could not get that floater to go, and it's going to be a jump ball, and alternate possession will go to Union. That is the 15th turnover on the part of AUM. Union has picked up 27 points off of their mistakes. Getting close to the 6-minute mark. It has been all Union. Big screen, big three is there for Cauble. And for Union, that is the 9th three of the game, and Union with 31 out of 51 for 62% from the floor. Tremendous afternoon of shooting. And a little curl-in layup goes for Moore, who has 6. Cauble open again. No, just a little bit short. Just hit that iron a bit short and a bit right. But she had the range unquestionably. 78-47. Jumper is there. I got to hand it to Gracie Lee. She has really hung in there today. It's been a tough afternoon. She's playing with 4 fouls, but she's not giving up. Right through the defenders, and having it knocked away at the 11th hour was Thompson. And Gracie Lee checks back out, and coming in again is Brewster. Brewster she's been a mainstay this afternoon for AUM. 5 out of 10 from the floor, and they have been all 3-pointers. That one was way too high on the bank for Keeley. So AUM will play it underneath. And Mark is giving his bench players a lot of playing time here in this second half, as this lead has been mostly between 25 and 30 points. Big three is short, off to the right. Union will play it, and Mark is coaching them up. That's what he does, is that he is a coach. No matter what the score is, he is going to constantly be directing traffic and looking for areas that the players can, as he's talked about, looking for areas where he can put them in positions that they can succeed, but also trying to correct the mistakes. And here's Thompson. Takes it all the way down. Couldn't get it. If she'd have had a left hand, that might have worked with it, but she went to the right hand going in that direction. And the big three is there for Brewster. She is 6 out of 11 from behind the arc. 18 points for the Warhawks. Union slows it down as we get to the 4-minute mark. Anna's going to take it, and spin move travels. Yep, changed her pivot foot. She was there and going in for that left-handed hook, but changed her pivot foot. A little bit too much indecision. And checking out of the game is Tyus. And let's see how Coach Page is going to play this one. AUM will fall to 5-8 on the season. They're 0-7 in the Gulf South. Union will be 13-2, and the three is there for Dudley. She has 10, so she's in double figures. Union will be 13-2 and 8-0, retaining that slim lead in the Gulf South Conference. Taking it all the way home and drawing the foul. In the game now for Union. And I believe everybody on the bench has played. And so you got Sally Howell, the local girl from Trinity Christian Academy. She's a sophomore. Goes to the line for a couple, try to get Union to the 80 mark. They've had a rough time the last 3 times at the free throw line. But Sally would like to join the scoring brigade and does not. Union has missed 4 in a row from the free throw line. Their percentage is so much better from the floor. Union shooting 57% from the floor this afternoon. At one point, it was 78. Almost stolen by Howell. And she'll commit the foul. And checking in for Union, Claire Maxson. She is the sophomore from Henderson who went to Chester County, played for Coach Lee Nunemaker-Pipkin, who, of course, is a former All-American from Union. And during that game between that classic that we showed you between Union and Bethel from 1996, Lee was one of my analysts, along with former WBBJ sportscaster Jim Holder. Such fond memories of that spectacular night where this gym was absolutely packed to the rafters. They were lined up against each end line, almost stolen, but dangerous pass, but picked up by Cauble. Union with 15 to try to deliver. Mark's trying to get as many of these young women an opportunity to play that don't often get to see the court. They got 3, and 3 seconds is called. And a lot of this is just not being accustomed to being in this situation, and because they don't get a lot of playing time. A lot of times they're the scout team when they're in practice. It was interesting that Mark told us earlier today that yesterday was their 83rd practice, and we still have a month and a half of the regular season to go. Right in between the defenders and drawing the foul is Tyus. Foul is charged to Sally Howell. So Tyus will go to the line. As I say, they've missed her scoring ability today. But it has been, particularly when the starters were in there and some of the strongest bench players, it was really a tremendous defensive outing on the part of the Lady Bulldogs. And they're going to a little bit of a half-court trap to try to see if they can rattle these young players. And Howell just dribbles her way right around it. And it is called. Oh, yes! Leah with 9, and Mark takes time out. 2:07 to go. Union finally tops the 80 mark at 81-61. The Lady Bulldogs have had so many successes this season, winning close games on the road. But Mark Campbell says he doesn't really spend any time focusing on where a game will be played.
Yeah, I just think preparation, and as a coach, you just don't treat road and home any differently. It's never talked about. Execution is execution. Length of the floor is the same. Size of the rim is the same. You watch Hoosiers, that scene when takes him into the Butler and the field house, and he measures the guys. It's that simple. Everything's the same, and so it's just a matter of being together, understanding your job, getting lost in how you go about doing things instead of getting lost in the moment.
AUM will play it underneath its own goal, and Union has thoroughly dominated. The lead was as much as 32 in this contest, and with a lot of the younger players in there, they're not accustomed to playing the kind of defense that is necessary to keep that score down. And going for the 3, they backed off on defending the 3, and Brewster connects with her 7th three-pointer of the contest. She has 21 to lead all scorers in the game. Union with about just a little more than 90 seconds remaining. In case you missed it, it was a thriller finish for the Union Bulldogs down in Huntsville this afternoon, and I'll tell you about it after the game. That one was short. You could tell almost the minute it went through, and McCready will draw the foul. Good concentration by Anna to try to get that offensive rebound. So McCready goes to the line for 2. Got to try to get her into the scoring brigade this afternoon, and it goes through. That was when you would say iron kind to hit that back of the iron and have it drop through. That one was unkind. And trying to get down the floor quickly. They'd like to make this a much more respectable score. McCready is working against Farrell underneath. And Tyus has it just roll off the iron. Howell's a great ball handler. And stops and pops and doesn't get it. And they scramble around. Sally just didn't get enough lift on that ball. So we're under a minute, and timeout called by Auburn Montgomery. So we'll take one more time to listen to what Mark Campbell had to say, because over his 22 previous years guiding Lady Bulldog basketball, Mark has said paying attention to detail is a key to success. And he told me an important job as a coach is to instill in players the same focus on details.
Learn more about what their jobs are. Really taking pride in small things, developing habits. We are all a culmination of all our habits. And so when you get 5 or 6 people, or in our case, 15 people on a team, it's a lot of habits. And there's some people on our team that do a great job of just really attacking those bad habits. And there's some people that don't do a great job of doing that. And so my hope is that now you're aware of the habits that hurt you and hurt our team. We've been through, I think we'll practice for the 83rd time today. And so that's a lot of days. And so hopefully they've been exposed and are aware. And now they really take pride in trying to prepare to execute.
And these are the young ladies who are typically the kind that are in waiting, hoping they will have their opportunity to start eventually. And Mark has had an opportunity virtually the entire fourth quarter to give them an opportunity to get some game experience, and that's the only way you get better. AUM with 22 on the shot clock will play it over on the side. And I got to hand it to them. They have not quit in this game, even though they got down by as many as 32. They have continued to at least run their offense, and they have been strong from outside. And another one. Let me tell you what. Dudley. She decked it well there, and that is her third three-pointer. They've had 13 three-pointers in this game. Union's going to have to put it up at least one more time. Here goes Howell going for the three. No, it's short. The entire bench came up. They were going to erupt if she had nailed that one. And they are not going to try to put up another one. They're just going to say, let's take it home back to Montgomery. And it is Union winning it 82-67, a score that does not really depict how dominant the Lady Bulldogs were, up 45-25 at halftime and up 69-45 at the end of the third quarter. And so it was a time for Mark to give a lot of his reserves an opportunity to play, and that's what you want to see. Well, let's wrap this up here by telling you, I'll try to go through this as best we can. Game's leading scorer was for AUM, and that is Jordan Brewster with 21 points, and she had all of them from behind the arc, 7 of 12 from three-point land. Alasha Dudley with 17. She had 3 three-pointers in the game. 3 three-pointers for a young lady who's not among their leading scorers, and that's Tamia Willingham King, who picked up 13 points today. So they had 3 in double figures, and they shot 51% from the floor. They only were able to put it up 45 times, but it was still a strong day, way above their three-point shooting percentage, 13 of 25. For Union, it was Emily Beard who played in the game 22 minutes, so she barely played a little bit more than a half a game. If Emily had stayed in the game all the way, there's no doubt in my mind she would have had 30-plus. But she was 7 of 9 from the floor, 4 out of 6 in three-pointers, 2 of 2 in free throws. She had a couple of rebounds, had a steal. Just a tremendous game, and she was dominant. She just was unstoppable this afternoon, and she's going to be our Worthy Road Studios player of the game. Emily Beard-Dunnigan with 20 to lead Union. 11 for Jalencia Williams, and she was 5 of 9 from the floor and 6 rebounds. Shanique Lucas, who played 26 minutes, so she played maybe a half and half of another quarter. Shanique with 10 points, 5 out of 7 from the floor. She had 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And then it was well spread out. Leah Cauble with 3 three-pointers for 9. It was Samaria Thompson with 8, one of her better outings this afternoon. Did a great job of ball handling. Bethany Dillard with 8. Ashton Baker with 5. And you had 6 for Bailey Augustine. And so Union dominates it, shooting 55% from the floor and 48% in three-pointers this afternoon. And ended up the big total, 30 points off of turnovers by AUM. That was huge because that was actually 2 points for every turnover that AUM made. And that was huge. And so that shows you just how dominant Union was across the board, particularly defensively. So the final, once again, is Union 82, Auburn Montgomery 67. The Union Bulldogs had a real thriller down in Huntsville. It was tied at 70, and with 2.8 seconds remaining. It was Ty Parks. He missed his first of 2 free throws. The second one went right through the heart, and Union held off the last-ditch opportunity with barely 3 seconds left, and Union won 72-71, a big victory on the road against a very tough Alabama Huntsville team. And to get a victory when you're not there at home, that is huge. So congratulations to the Bulldogs. Now, I'll tell you where we're going to be. We're going to be right back here Thursday night and next Saturday afternoon. Thursday night, it'll be at 5:30. 5:15 will be our airtime as the Lady Bulldogs and Bulldogs will take on West Florida if there are no kind of COVID restrictions that aren't met. And then on Saturday afternoon, a week from today, it'll be Valdosta State coming in, and particularly for the Lady Bulldogs, both of those are very important because they went into today 1/2 game ahead of both West Florida and Valdosta State. Lady Bulldogs with the only unblemished record in the conference today, going 13-2 and 8-0 in the conference. And the Bulldogs are now 14-3. So it's been a good day if you're a Union fan. Invite you to join me at 7 o'clock, a little bit less than a half hour from now, for Steve Beverly's TV Classics on E-Plus TV6 and EPlusTV6.com, or if you're on Roku, on the free To View app. And you'll be able to see a tribute to the late Dwayne Hickman, who left us last weekend at the age of 87. Of course, he was noted primarily as Dobie Gillis. And so we're going to be showing you some of his classic TV performances, and I'll be joined by a very special guest, Stu Shostak, one of America's top TV historians, who was a personal friend of Dwayne Hickman's, and he'll tell you all about what Dwayne was like as a human being as well as an actor. That's going to bring it to a close from Fred DeLay Gymnasium, and let's show you the fellows who brought this to you this afternoon. Our camera operators, 2 of the best guys in the business, Christopher Reasons and Billy Bolin, and our ever-present, ever-cool executive producer and director, Paul Schultze, from Worthy Road Studios, and they are the best. So until we're with you Thursday evening, right here from Fred DeLay Gymnasium, I'm Steve Beverly saying thanks for joining us, and so long from the great hub city of West Tennessee.